All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Seven Figures or Bust podcast, the number one podcast in the world for growing your insurance business. This is episode 136. I'm Christian Brindle. He's Glenn Shelton. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I set a PR this morning. Feeling pretty good about it. Longest time in the ice yet. I did just about 14 minutes.
Ooh.
My biggest disappointment this year so far is that I haven't gotten you to take an ice bath yet.
14 minutes. The first thing I think of when you say that is that's probably 13 minutes and 45 seconds too long for me.
Well, now part of me is like, now I'm curious because this has been a slow buildup, right? Like the very first time I got in, I couldn't do 3 minutes. It was like 2.5 minutes I had to get out. Then I did 5 minutes. Then I thought like 7 or 8 minutes. Then typically I do like 10 or 11 minutes. And then my shoulder was really bothering me. So I just wanted to stay in for as long as I could this morning. But now I'm like, how long can I stay in now until hypothermia sets in? I'm like, where is the line here?
That is the line,
man.
hypothermia. Well, I think when it comes to me and ice baths, I don't like being cold. I just don't like it.
I'm
I don't
telling
like
you.
I've tried cold showers, hate it every time, every second of it.
You'll love it. You'll love it. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. That's
see.
my challenge to you. Okay.
We'll see.
2 minutes. Guys, we have an absolutely fully loaded final episode of this week for you today. I have a list here. This is going to be the main topic, so we're going to get into this later. But I have a list of what I believe are the 10 most common types of agents that I see in the industry. The reason for this is recently I was talking about the 2 types of agents for AEP that we're seeing. We see kind of the offense and defense is really what it's been labeled as. There's the agent who just plays defense. They're just retention. They're not writing new apps. They're not really growing, right? And for some of you, that's really frustrating. You're just stuck playing defense. Then there's the agent who's got the whole team. They're playing defense, but they're also playing offense. And that seems to resonate with a lot of agents that I've been talking with. So then I kept thinking about it. I was like, what other types of agents are there? And so I put together this list. I think it's going to be, some of these I think are going to be hilarious. Some of these I feel like I can see myself in some of these. I can definitely see you in some of these. There's probably more different categories. We could probably even expand on the categories too. There might be more than 10, but I have 10 written down right here in front of me. So I'm excited to get into that later. But yes. I believe we also have a news story that we'd like to cover as well. So again, fully loaded episode 136.
Yes.
Anything else you wanted to cover before we got into said topics?
No, I'd say we just jump right into it. So as Glenn mentioned, first topic this morning that we wanted to kind of start the show off with was something in the news that has been a little bit of a buzz in the agent communities that I've seen. And that is this. I'm going to share my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen, sir.
I can see your screen, sir.
All right. So the headline of the article reads, Health insurer Centene reports surprise quarterly loss, okay, to their investors. The article, and this article is on MSN.com. Starts off by saying, Centene on Friday reported a surprise quarterly loss after a health insurer warned of a revenue slump from government-backed plans, sending its shares down nearly 3% in pre-market trading. Quote, we are disappointed by our second quarter results. Sarah London.
Your audio cut out for a second there. You're back now.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I thought it was my headset, but my headset's A-okay. But I think it was
Okay.
Anyways, continue.
Anyway, so the health insurance industry has seen elevated medical costs and changing enrollment patterns at a time when it braces for big spending cuts and rule changes under the Trump administration. Earlier this month, Centene withdrew its 2025 earnings forecast due to an unexpected revenue slump from commercial plans under the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. These plans offer a sliding scale of government subsidies based on income. For the second quarter, the health insurer reported adjusted loss per share of 16 cents compared to analyst estimates of a profit of 86 cents per share. So that's a pretty big difference.
That's a huge miss.
According to data compiled by LSEG. And that's kind of it in terms of this article. So let's kind of get into the nitty gritty of this, shall we? So Centene, for those of you that don't know, Centene is the parent company of WellCare. And the first reaction I saw to this, I don't know if you did as well, agents kind of talking about this, chatting about this, was joy. Because if you don't know, WellCare made a very polarizing, controversial decision pre-AEP last year to not just cut commissions on new business for PDPs going forward, which several carriers have done, right? Just with the PDP landscape, we talked a lot about this on yesterday's episode. A lot of carriers have made that decision, but they also decided to cut renewals on previous business, which, if I remember correctly, no carrier has at that time or has since chosen to do. They're kind of in a category on their own with that. And so, point blank, there's a lot of disdain for WellCare in the agent community, even a year later.
Idea. I had no idea there was all this disdain floating around out there.
So a lot of agents, see this kind of information come out, and their first reaction is, that's what you get.
Neener, neener, neener.
That's the first reaction for a lot of agents, as Paramore once said, that's what you get when you let your heart break.
That's what you get when you let your heart break. I guess there's definitely like multiple ways of kind of viewing this. There is obviously a lot. I did see that same sentiment in the agent community, like you're saying, all over the place. People were very much so. I think there was an excitement around the failure of this. It was, again, what did you expect though? When you're the same reason when we talk about, the Chicken Little agents who are scared the industry's dying. It's like the reason the agent broker model still exists today is because we are necessary. We are needed to be able to process products and applications. Like, this industry doesn't work without us. And if it could, we'd already be gone, guys. We would have already been gone a long time ago. I remember and I've talked about this, I believe, on the show before too, is the Mutual of Omaha model. They used to have the career agent model all over the place. They would have all these different career agent offices, captive Mutual of Omaha agents. I had a family member who was a captive Mutual of Omaha agent. I grew lead heroes out of a dead Mutual of Omaha office, which I don't even think exists anymore. I think that office has already closed up and gone. I would like to go find it if it still exists. But
Lead Heroes documentary.
That's right.
Time.
It's coming. Time. It's coming.
I'd like us to go to that building, and we're outside of it, and you're just pointing, and you're like right there. See that window? That's where I would sit. And from that window here, all the way to this side over there, there was no one.
They had like
desk.
a little conference room. I would just like go in there. I would like lay on the conference table. There was nobody in the office. Anyways, that's a story for another time. But the point being, what ended up happening with Mutual of Omaha is they were looking at their numbers and they're like, wow, the broker model actually works really well for us. You know, they do a ton of distribution. We're actually profitable. This career agent model doesn't work. There are plenty of carriers still chasing this broker agent model because it works.
Mm-hmm.
We are necessary and needed. So when you see a company like WellCare, like Centene, who has started to push away in some ways, why, what did you expect? Like, what did you think was going to happen? Obviously, there's probably more to this story than just what happened during AEP last year. I saw someone in the comments talking about ACA. So I'm not sure what happened on the ACA side. Maybe that's something you could speak more to.
Well, the article talked about it. I think that's why they're going into that. I don't know if my mic was off.
Your mic may have cut. Your mic may have cut out for a second when you talked about that.
Here's the part of the article that talked about that. It said earlier this month, Centene withdrew its 2025 earnings forecast due to an unexpected revenue slump from commercial plans under the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. These plans offer a sliding scale government subsidies based on income. The health insurance industry has seen elevated medical costs and changing enrollment patterns at a time when it braces for big spending cuts and rule changes under the Trump administration. So I'm sure that's true, and I'm sure that is a contributor to this. But I without knowing the numbers, without having it in front of me, my perception this year has been their Medicare Advantage sales are down, because I think there's a lot of agents that even though they can get compensated on their Medicare Advantage plans, refuse to sell it.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of that going on.
So gun to your head right now, number one contributing factor to this huge miss, which again, if you don't follow earnings for these publicly traded companies, anything bigger than a few pennies off is a big miss. And this is a huge miss. I mean,
86 cents is what it was projected to be, essentially, and it was down 14 cents.
So it was a full $1 miss. Plus, not to mention, they were also projecting a profit and they missed having a profit. I mean, imagine a target, like an archery target, like a big target. They thought they were going to get relatively close to that bullseye, and they didn't even hit anywhere on the target. The arrow went just into the woods. I mean, this is a huge miss if you're not familiar with how EPS works. So gun to your head, what's the number one contributing factor here? Do you think it's MA? Do you think it's agents? Did we kill their earnings?
I think anybody that's reporting on this is not going to know the intricacies of our business enough to know what happened on the PDP side, agents boycotting, things like that, right? If I had to put a gun to my head, just based on what I know, I'd probably chalk it up more to the ACA portion of it. That being said, though, I do think it's probably closer than people think. It's probably like 1A, 1B, right? Because I'm sure their Medicare sales are down this year. I would be very surprised if they're not. They're hemorrhaging money on their PDP product. Even with the government subsidies, they're losing money, right? They're offering a $0 premium PDP.
Right.
Like there's no way there's any profit there. They use that plan. It's kind of a loss leader. It's a loss leader, but they use that plan. It's kind of a badly kept secret at this point as a gateway into the client's household to market Medicare Advantage plans to them. Like, that's just kind of a thing. That's the reason why they're willing to get as many people on those plans as possible, even at a loss, because then they can contact them for Medicare Advantage sales and try to flip them to Medicare Advantage, things like that. I think it's it's definitely a thing where they are in a bit of a category of their own because, like I said earlier, while other carriers have stopped paying commissions on new business going forward on PDPs, they are the only one that cut commissions on a national basis on old business and new business going forward. They were the only one that made that decision that basically said, our brokers, our agents, fuck them.
Oh my God.
And so, I think it's, man, I mean, I think I gotta think you gotta think that's gotta be a contributor. Has to be a
Has to be.
contributor.
Has to be. It would just be speculation if that's the number one reason for this, but it has to be a major contributing factor for sure, in my opinion. Again, just the sheer volume of brokers representing them who, when they saw that news, had to just immediately think and say, I never want to work with this company ever again. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I never want to write an application for this company ever again. Like, and now here we are. Here's the results of what that looks like. Right? So it'll be interesting to see what their future trajectory looks like from here. But I can't imagine it's a positive one. But I don't know. Maybe they'll turn the ship around. Maybe they'll rebrand. I don't know. We've seen all sorts of different things happen in this space over the years. So, I guess the jury's still out on what the future holds. But yeah, I mean, what a dumb decision. That that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't want to get too much deeper than that because we are still a partner with them. I very much hesitate oftentimes to talk about our carrier partners like in that fashion, but like, I think every agent in America is and has been, because
we get off the stream, your phone rings. Christian, did you say this? Who is this? This is the insurance deep state.
It's us.
who?
You know who. You've been a bad boy.
Did you really say this about WellCare? Like Batman.
What did I say?
They said fuck agents. They never publicly said that.
But they did it with their actions. They pulled renewal commissions.
That doesn't matter.
Oh my gosh.
We're watching you. You're wearing black with a blue hat. There's a red line on the back of your head. You better watch yourself.
Oh dear. I promise I'll be good.
You better. You're going to go Epstein.
If you guys missed our insurance deep state episode earlier this week, there might be some context missing from what just happened right there, but definitely go back and watch Monday's and Tuesday's episode. It was a thriller, to say the least. Now, to kind of start to shift gears here as we head into our main topic, I want to talk about today's sponsor of episode 136 of the Seven Figures or Bust podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by none other than Hire Heroes. We just had a massive webinar going over how you can triple your business in AEP 2026 working with virtual assistants. The replay will be available for just over 24 hours. So after 24 hours, you won't be able to find the replay. The replay will also include the bonus that we offered live on the webinar yesterday. So you can actually get a 25% bonus on hours with any new virtual assistants you hire from right now, Thursday, August 7th, until tomorrow, Friday, August 8th at 4 p.m. Eastern. So you have just over 24 hours to pull the trigger. The training I thought was awesome. I got really good feedback from the agents who were on the training with us yesterday. Again, Some of you might have been already doing some of those strategies. Some of you might not have been doing any of them. But the idea was, how can you use some of the tools and technology that are available today in conjunction with a vetted virtual assistant to protect your time and amplify your business going into AEP and really grow in a big way and be that agent playing offense. Don't be that agent that's stuck playing defense and then you're frustrated the next year and you're like, wow, I didn't really grow at all this year. There's a lot of you out there who fall into that category. So check it out. The link will be in the comments on this stream to view that replay, or if you want to take advantage of the bonus while it still exists, you got 24 hours to do so. You can also head over to hireheroes.com to learn more. HIREHEROES, hireheroes.com.
Love it. Love it. All right, let's shift gears into our main topic today. A topic that I'm a little bit in the dark of in terms of the details of the 10 different agents. So this is going to be my first reaction to these topics, as well as the audience.
I almost texted it to you, but then I was like, I didn't want you to see it because I enjoy it. I enjoy
live reaction is always better as far as I'm concerned. So let's lean into this line of conversation, right? So 10 different types of agents. Where do we start here?
Okay. I have a list of 10. We might end up, I don't know how quickly we'll go through the list. Maybe this takes up the whole time. Maybe we get to the point where we're coming up with some additional types of agents. We'll find out, but
maybe we do this. Maybe we do one at a time and dissect each one.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Yeah, I mentioned one and then we'll talk about it, and maybe there's people that pop into our head that we don't name and we laugh about. That always seems to happen as well. But so in no particular order, okay? No particular order, 10 different types of Medicare agents, or really this could probably be almost any insurance agent. I know some of these I was thinking life agents too, but the first one is the compliance cop. The compliance cop.
Of course. That one's clearly me.
Yeah, exactly. Compliance assassin.
Okay, so the compliance cop.
Yes.
Typically, the first thing that comes to my mind is this is an agent that is, how do I say this without getting myself in trouble?
We heard what you said about our compliance officers.
Usually this is somebody that is never lives in the gray on anything, right? Because there's a lot of compliance rules. I was training somebody yesterday, and I was explaining that there's some rules that are black and white. There's other rules where the interpretation is going to vary by carrier. Like if you follow the rule with one carrier, you're literally breaking it with another. And we call that the gray. They don't believe in a gray. They believe in two carriers have the same rule. They contradict each other. It's impossible to follow both. Who cares? Figure out a way to follow both. But I can't upline. They literally contradict each other. Like if I follow this rule, it's violating this carrier. I don't care. It's the rules. Struck by lightning.
You can't handle the rules.
Yes. Typically somebody that's never written any business or hasn't written a lot of business. And somebody that acts as a bit of a Boy Scout or Girl Scout, policing others, just freaked out all the time about everything. They're lying in bed at night. They're thinking about all the rules that are getting broken out there. And they're just like, They
just shoot up in the middle, like, oh, honey, what's wrong? What's wrong? Oh, I just had a dream someone wrote 2 apps without scoping either of them. Oh my gosh.
They read the disclaimer, but it wasn't. It was later in the call. It wasn't in the first 60 seconds.
I've got to go get a glass of water before I can go back to bed.
In the bathroom. They
didn't record the call.
They forgot to hit record. Typically, this is somebody that turns other agents in. You know, like they're filing reports, they're filing allegations. And oftentimes, this is somebody that fearmongers too.
Oh, this is a Chicken Little. This person's... I don't know if I'm able to get through this list. Oh, I'm not going to be able to get through this list. I can already feel it.
So that's what I think of when I think of this first one, you know, the compliance cop. I will say this as well as a disclaimer, right? Compliance rules are real. You should do your best to follow them. But that being said, the people that operate that way, they're turning people in. They're looking for like the most obscure little tiny violation, right? They're not ever thinking about like, was the client actually being helped to their best regard, right? Like that's what matters at the end of the day.
Yes.
Yes. Your intent of the whole situation is the most important thing. They don't care about that. This, so while these compliance rules, they're a thing, you should try your best to follow them. You know, this is a person that oftentimes also, something we haven't said yet, over-regulates themselves.
100%. And typically this leads to less production. That was the one thing I was going to add is
to no production.
Less to no production. You don't often see someone who's obsessive about compliance who turns around and writes a ton of business at the same time. That's typically not the case. I love what you said about intent because, like, you think about murder, right? You murder someone. No, I'm serious though. You murder someone.
I know where you're going with this. I think.
Okay. You murder someone. You go to court. The penalty of your sentence is directly tied to the intent. Did you just hit them with your car? Whoops. Or was this someone you've been planning to kill for 20 years and they have proof that you've been plotting this for 20 years? Very different scenarios, right? And so I think intent's a big deal. I think it's a huge deal. And if you're trying to do your best, you want to make sure the beneficiary is being taken care of. The beneficiaries getting taken care of is like the number one thing. Like, the seniors need help. They need help. The vast majority of these seniors are so lost and confused. They need help. You know, if you accidentally don't record a call, you don't need to wake up in the middle of the night sweating like you have PTSD from war.
Let's say you send a client a scope. You mark Medicare Advantage. You think that's what you're going to talk about. You end up talking about PDP. You forget to get a new scope.
Get my rescue inhaler.
Honey, are you all right? I don't know.
It was only 42 hours from the time. Oh my gosh. I just wrote that at 42 hours after I got the lead.
47 hours and 50 minutes.
I terminated my license and pulled the app. I did the right thing. Okay, we gotta move on. We got 9 more. That was the first
show on this one. I don't want to do anymore. I don't want to do the other 9. I want to stop at 1.
Okay, and I'm assuming the one person in particular that comes to mind for you for that one as well. I'm assuming there's one person that comes top of mind. You don't, obviously we're not going to say.
There's certainly a few, but there's definitely one that outweighs the rest. I'm done. I'm gonna be canceled. The end of the show. It's the end of me. It's the end of the Facebook group. I hope you all enjoyed it.
I just have to get through 30 minutes, and then I get the weekend off from this show. 30 minutes, Glenn. And then you get the weekend off from the show.
This is a crazy fucking show. This is unbelievable.
Okay. This episode of the Seven Figures or Bust podcast is brought to you by the Seven Figure University. SevenFigureUniversity.com is a culmination of Christian Brindle's and mine's educational videos that we have developed over the past 2 decades of combined experience in the senior insurance space. There's more than 250 videos, hundreds of hours of content that can help you become a top producer or a top producing agency in the senior insurance space. We're talking about videos of how to work with specific carriers, how to do different types of marketing, such as seminars or Facebook advertising, how to generate content in the niche to help grow your business, how to grow an agency, all sorts of things. There's so much value in this. It's unbelievable. Christian, what do agents need to know about Seven Figure University?
Seven Figure University can best be thought of as an agency blueprint in a box that's put together for you that brings you step by step in every facet of building a successful seven-figure insurance agency and lays it out all in front of you so you can follow along. Whether you guys need help with marketing, whether you guys need help with branding, whether you guys need help with hiring, training, standard operating procedures, systems and processes, automation, you name it, it's covered in this course. Not only that, you get access to my weekly training calls every Thursday that go from January through the end of September on a week-to-week basis. And you can attend those live and ask questions live. And then, of course, the recordings are put into the university afterward if you can't attend it and make the live training. So there's just so much value. It's the gift that keeps on giving, and it's a great investment into your business to kind of keep you up to date on what's going on, but also kind of point you in the right direction in various things that you're struggling with.
Some of the best training you'll be able to find, you guys, in one spot for one price. Go to sevenfigureuniversity.com and learn more.
Let's get back to the show.
Okay, the next one on my list, the recruiter. The recruiter. So this is someone, I'll start this one off. This is someone, especially on the life side, they have never written a single app. They are driving around a car that they lease that they can't afford. They're talking about how incredible the lifestyle is. They're getting you to show up. It's got this MLM style feel. Hey, come to my house. I've got some friends coming over at 7. There's like chairs in a little semicircle. It's going to be a party, but it feels like AA when you get there.
MLM-y feel?
Yes. Talk to me about the recruiter.
I mean, the recruiter, there's 2 different types of recruiters too. Like we could even split this into
subcategory. 2. Okay.
You have the recruiter that you talked about, right? Like rented Lambos, they're insurance Ty Lopez's of sorts, you know.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like you know what I like a lot more than materialistic things? Knowledge. In fact, I'm much more proud of these 5 new bookshelves I had installed in my garage.
Oh my gosh.
That type of person, flashiness, everything like that. But they don't sell. They've never sold. They just recruit. And it's all about presenting an image of success. Then you have the other type of person that is kind of weaved in with number 1, that is same thing, compliance police, you know, never sold, right? Like
yes.
all they do is recruit, but they don't teach anyone anything. They just are like, you know, 47-hour scope, you're going to get struck by lightning and you will die. I've seen it happen.
Yes.
And if you survive, I will kill you. Like that's
like a
that's
fear-based recruiter.
yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
I
like,
have all the answers. You
but
better
they've never
listen to
sold
me.
anything.
Right.
And they never teach, like, their training is compliance training, fear mongering, bring in carrier reps to spew carrier propaganda. Not to say we don't like carrier propaganda from time to time.
We might have to delete this show at the end. We might have to just. This might be a live-only show today. We'll have to see.
Or they talk about like grassroots marketing tactics that were used in the 90s.
Yes.
Like it's all their training is that. And it shows because they've never sold anything. Like they've never done an app or a policy or anything like that. All they do is recruit. So you see that a lot on the Medicare side, I feel. The person that comes to mind for number one is also the person for number two.
Right. I know.
For me in that way.
I know. The second you were saying that, I knew it was. The other there was an agent, and I'm not going to say names, but I think the vehicle was a BMW i3. It had the butterfly doors. Is that the one? Do you know the car I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do, but I don't know I don't know like what model it is.
So imagine like a BMW that essentially looks very much so like a Lambo, okay? And I was very much so led to believe. I never worked with this agent in that way. Like I was never in their downline or anything, but I was led to believe this was their car for sure. And one of the main pictures on this agent's website was them with this car. I mean, it was very Ty Lopez, right? And then I come to find out years later that was a weekend rental. It was a weekend rental purely for the recruiting, the flashy, and I felt a little misled. Again, even though I never worked directly with the agent in that way, I was never like in their downline. I remember thinking like, really? Like I can't imagine going out and renting a car and then pretending like I owned it just to try to like, isn't that silly? Like maybe we should go rent like a Lambo for a day. We each go get a Lambo for a day and we just like, yeah, we did it. Look at us. Look at us. But it's really the books I've written. It's really the books I've written.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Trucking along here.
Yes.
I have this written as the one product, but you could also say the purist.
Okay.
The purist. This is I only sell MedSup. I only sell final expense. I only sell one product. Don't talk to me about anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about the purist.
So the purist is an agent that's as old as time in our space, right? Like I've met agents before that all they sell is like a crappy HIP plan for a carrier I've never heard of. And that's like all they sell.
Yeah.
And like they're licensed for everything. But it's like, I'm like, that's all you sell? Yep. I go door to door. Even go into businesses sometimes. I see I had one guy tell me one time, he's like, I see the signs that say no solicitors. I just don't even see them. I walk right past. And I'm like, and it was such a crappy product. I don't think it even exists anymore. But I've seen people like that. I've also seen agents that were like in captive, / independent arrangements with certain obscure carriers, and they can only sell like cancer plans and things like that for that carrier. Weird stuff like that. But of course, you have the MedSup purists.
Yes, talk about them a lot.
Their business model is to demonize Medicare Advantage, right? Like if there's one complaint about Medicare Advantage, they're broadcasting it, far and wide and everything like that. Every type of insurance policy. I was telling someone in our office this the other day, that someone was Googling carrier names. They're like, oh, their reviews aren't very good. I'm like, no carriers are going to have very good reviews. None. Like, if you're at 3 out of 5 stars, it's probably pretty great, Because no matter what type of insurance policy you have, there's going to be people that don't have something that gets paid, even if it's not the fault of the carrier, and they're going to blame the carrier, right? So like if you're looking for a smoking gun, you can always find it when it comes to plans and carriers and everything like that. There's a position to demonize the other side, always. Because no side is perfect. Every side is flawed, MedSup included. But that's a big tactic for them. The MA purists, a lot of times it's not that they're demonizing MedSup. It's a lot of times that they just don't know it. They were never trained on it. They were really taught to churn and flip.
It's
MA
more of
plans.
it's more of an education thing, I think, with them. The one thing, here's the purists that confuse me the most are the ones who not only are they only selling one product, but they only sell one carrier of one product. Like you kind of touched on a second ago. It's like, aren't you a broker? Like the whole point of being a broker is working with multiple carriers. Like I remember early on in my career looking at captive versus broker and being like, I just couldn't wrap my head around why I would ever want to be captive. I'm like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like the idea of being able to work with all these different insurance companies seems like that would be so beneficial to me and to my clients. But yet you have these brokers out there. They're like, yep, only sell Mutual of Omaha. That's it. I'm like, really? Like, really? That's it? You don't sell anything else? They're like, no, just Mutual. It's like, okay. It's confusing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of different types of purists out there, but yeah, it's always, it's, and you could even say like some people, when they think of purists, they might think of like, okay, they do Medicare. They don't do any other line. No, a lot of purists are like one carrier, one plan type within the Medicare segment. Same with life, right? One type of life product, So yeah, very interesting, the purist.
Moving on. This is the opposite of the purist. This is the everything agent.
Oh.
They are licensed in 40 to 50 states, even though they really only sell in one. They got their life and health, their PNC license. They got their Series 6 and 63, their Series 7, because they thought if I am licensed for everything, I'll have more opportunity. I'll sell more.
Yep.
From a carrier perspective, they're with 100 carriers, even though they only sell 5.
They have
right?
more than we do.
Yes.
Yes.
Talk to me about the everything agent.
Man, triggers me just hearing you talk about it a little bit.
This is a common one. This is a really common one.
There's a lot of these. The everything agent is their own worst enemy.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they're also doing things like that aren't even insurance related. Like they're in like MLMs and stuff too. Like they're trying to study for their real estate agent license. Like I see this a lot with agents. I'm like, aren't you selling insurance? It's like, oh, I passed my real estate license exam. I'm like, why?
100%.
Like they have more certifications than a Harvard professor, but oftentimes they never really sell that much of anything because they're just all over the place, and they have this misconception of like, I talk about this in my new book that's coming out, spoiler alert. This is the agent that has bought into the concept of multiple streams of income, quote unquote, not understanding what multiple streams of income really means. Instead of getting multiple streams of income, like, real successful people in a nutshell have one stream of income. They build it up to something substantial. Then they diversify, and it's passive diversification. It's not something that they're having to put a bunch of time into, right?
Yes.
These people that we're talking about here, they're getting like 5 or 6 equivalents of like 5 or 6 jobs.
100%.
And they can never make money at any of them, and they never understand why, and they work 100 hours a week. And I mean, and again, right, they cost themselves tons of money. They get licensed in all these states. They never have any business to write in the states. It's certainly messy.
That's the thing I think about with the Be Everything agent is the amount of time it would take to get all these different licenses, get all these different certifications, and then maintain all of it. Like, when are you going to have time to do anything else? Like, it would be such a time suck if you're literally like trying to be a PNC agent, a financial advisor, sell life and health. Like, and you're absolutely right about the like realtor one too, because sometimes I'll click when a lot of times I'll click on people's profiles. Like, if I see a comment or if I post something and they comment, and I just want to see like, who is this? Like, what do you do? It's always crazy to me when like it seems like they're super into insurance. I click on their profile and like everything they post is about, let me list your house, and I'm like, what is going on here? I'm like, what? Are you an agent? Like an insurance agent or a real estate agent?
They don't know what they are. They can't decide
Yeah.
what they are.
Yeah.
And it's sad because I think it's just, they just don't there's something where they were given bad advice. Or I think some people listen to advice about, again, multiple streams of income, and they misunderstand what that means.
I think that's definitely a part of it. Okay, let's keep trucking here. The next one is the social media addict. They are commenting on every post in every group. They are on their own page posting 5 times a day.
I believe you froze.
Yeah, we're back.
Okay.
It went black for a second, but we're back.
Okay. All right.
So talk to me about the social media addict agent.
The social media addict. Okay. So the social media addict is, sometimes they write business.
Yeah. This is a mid one.
It's
that sense.
They exist. A lot of them don't, right? And I'm not talking about the agent that like once in a blue moon posts in a group or comments on something here or there. It's like every hour, every 2 hours, they're commenting on literally everything.
Yes.
And they like people to believe that they get anything done.
Would you say there's some overlap with the recruiter with this one?
Usually. Yeah. Like, there's people that will make Facebook groups to recruit, but that, like, if you really pay attention to what they're doing, they're not working. They're on Facebook all day. They're DMing people all day. Maybe that's how they recruit. Maybe that is their work, right? That's like their business. Right. For me, like, obviously we do run, I did create a massively big, successful, influential Facebook group. At this point, though, I look at it once or twice a day. Like, sometimes it'll go hours if someone tags me before I'll see it.
Yeah.
I'm really busy. I'm not on it all the time. I have people that yesterday they're DMing me in the morning. I didn't get back to them till like 5 or 6 p.m., something like that. Like, so I would say at times I've been this person, but not like consistently throughout the entirety of my career. Probably the majority of the time I haven't been this person because a lot of my work happens offline.
Yeah, I think, I think about the person that is really trying to create a persona. That's kind of my thing with this is like, they're almost trying to create a persona of an agent that doesn't really exist. Talking about all the business they're writing, talking about how busy they are, but yet they have all this time to be on social media 24/7 every hour of the day. So the
only way that would ever be possible is if like you're on a call with a client or you're on a Zoom call with a client, and at the same time you're like this, the same time,
right?
Which is impossible. That's not going to happen.
Yeah. Okay, trucking along here. So we're halfway through. That's 5. So 6, the event agent. The agent that doesn't miss a conference or an event anywhere in the world when there is an insurance or a Medicare or senior event, or maybe it's a marketing event. Thoughts on this type of agent?
I love this agent as an event owner. But but also, like they're people that you get to know, right? You see them all over the place. Like they're great. Like if they weren't at an event, it would be unfortunate. It'd be sad, because it wouldn't feel the same.
Yeah.
I love these agents. I do feel like if there's an agent, let's say that goes to 10 events a year, they're probably best off if they reduce that, like go to 4 or 5,
Right.
like you don't need, there's no, I do feel like there are agents out there that go to too many events, to where it's like, they're not learning anything at a certain point.
Yeah. What's your goal, right? Like, are you just going to hang out with people? Are you actually trying to learn something and grow? Are you trying to network? So there is sometimes that question of like, what are you doing? Are you wasting your time, right? Versus if you went to the top 2 or 3 events of the year, and then maybe there you'd get 90% of what you needed from those 2 or 3 events without going to all 10 events,
Yeah, for sure. But there are some agents that are great producers that do, I would call them event junkies. And I say that with affection because I've been to a ton of events. These days I won't go to an event unless I'm speaking. I will not go unless it's like outside of our industry. There's like something that I can gain from it, something I can learn,
Right.
Maybe like an AI event, to go high level event, a marketing event, something like that. But and even like this year in particular, I have been invited to probably 8 events that I've said no to speak. So I'm not even going to every single one that I'm invited to speak at this point, just because of everything that's going on in my
too much going on
personal life.
That's right. Well, just there's only so much time in the day. I mean, just like we're talking about with the social media addict, it's like, work's got to get done. I would love to travel, and whether it's for business or pleasure, but it's like stuff there's stuff that's got to get done. Okay, so moving on. The next one is the forever indie agent. In my mind, when I was coming up with this list, the forever indie agent is that agent will never take a downline agent, will never have an LOA agent, has no desire to be an FMO or IMO. They're probably that agent that's also like, I need a help, so I'm going to get my wife, my husband, my daughter, my son involved because I don't want to hire anyone outside of my family because I don't trust anybody. Talk to me about the forever indie.
Nothing wrong with it. In terms of like, if that's what you want, right? Like there's some people that want to get to a certain point in their business and then just cruise. It's not what I would want. It's not what I would choose to do. I do think that they're just on the brink oftentimes of blowing their business up, right? If they would just build out some more infrastructure. But yeah, I mean, but there's a lot of very successful producers. They've written a lot of business that fall into this category, but they never move to the point where they're a real business instead of a real successful salesperson.
There's some overlap with the purist on this one. Sometimes I feel like the purist can a lot of times be the forever indie agent, not always. And again, there is a self-awareness to it. Like if this is what you want, if this is what all you want, if you just want to, to just do it yourself, you don't bring anyone else in, you don't have any other employees, you don't do any LOA agents, etc. That there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's like I almost view these agents as like the cowboys, the gunslingers. Like they almost wear it as a badge of honor. I feel like those are the ones I'm talking about specifically. Where oh, I'm independent. Yep, just me. Nope, no, solo. Just me. I'm doing this all myself. So kind of the solo indie agent was my thought with that one. Okay, so next one. The mover. This is the upline mover. This is the agent who believes
The mover.
the mover. I don't know what. Maybe you have a better name for this one, but
The
this is
hopper.
the hopper. The hopper. That's better.
They're both good. I think both of those could be fine, but
They move every year. They believe that they're one contract away. If they just contract with the right upline, their business will explode. But the last 3 uplines, they didn't help me. They didn't give me enough co-op money. Their training sucked. And then it's like, well, at some point, the hopper, the mover, you've got to realize, like, maybe it's not the upline. Maybe the upline's not the problem. I know you've encountered these agents.
of course.
Quite a bit. Yes.
There's been agents that we end up being on their stop. We end up being one of their stops, right? Like along the Lord of the Rings style journey where there's many stops along the way.
And they end up falling into Mordor, into the volcano at the
end. But yeah, like we're one of those, and I also consider them merry-go-round agents. They'll get on and they'll get off.
Yep.
They won't stay on for the whole ride. And they spend a lot of time every year recontracting and everything like that, which when you're doing that all the time and consistently, like sometimes if you have to move, understood, right? Legitimate. But like Glenn said, if you're moving every year or every 2 years, like there are agents I know in this space that like clockwork every 2 years, they're shopping and moving. And typically, a lot of the times, the ones that do that, they never really find that much success anywhere because the upline's not going to build your business. You're going to build your business, and they run into the same issues, the same problems, where someone's promising them the world, and then it ends up being largely a sales pitch once they're on the other side.
I think it's a good thing, most likely, to move once or twice during your career because chances are you're not going to contract with the right entity your first go. So on one hand, moving contracts, I'm all for when it makes sense. The problem becomes when you're at 3, 4, 5 times of doing it. And again, like Christian said, I mean, we've seen it. We see it all the time. And at some point, you really have to turn inward, I feel like, and be like, why are you still moving your car? Like, what do you really think you're missing that you're not getting? Mm-hmm. Because it's probably more about you, the agent, and less about anything your upline can offer you once you've moved 5 times. It's like that. It's like the people who are on like their 5th or 6th marriage. And
they very similar.
They think, well, my last, my 5 ex-wives, they were terrible. But I'm sure my next wife, the marriage will last for sure.
The 7th is my soulmate.
You're right. Yeah, exactly. Okay. The next one. This is the analysis paralysis agent. This is the agent who they are buying every course. They are reading every post. They are journaling about all their thoughts. They are thinking about all of it. But they're not pulling the trigger. They're not writing business. They're not getting contracted, whatever it is. But they'll spend months. And I've seen these agents. And I've even at times in my career, I've fallen into this. I think the further I've gotten, the less time I enjoy. Anytime I feel like I'm in this place of mind, I just want to get out because it's torture. I just pull the trigger on whatever it is. Sometimes I like to still think about things, and Christian can attest to that. But talk to me about the analysis paralysis agent.
The analysis paralysis agent is the one that will demo 25 CRMs over 6 months time without picking one. The analysis paralysis agent is the one that will interview with every FMO known to man. Many of them twice over the course of like 3 years and will never actually do anything. So yeah, I mean, they're out there. They are their own worst enemies. Again, I do think it's good in a lot of situations to process and think about things, make a smart decision. That's probably a weakness of mine. I'm very much, shoot from the hip. Let's make a quick decision. Let's get this done so we can move on to the next thing. Sometimes that's good. And sometimes sometimes that shoots me in the foot.
Right.
And so I can respect it from that angle, but like Glenn said, it becomes almost like a time suck that comes up over and over and over and over. And it, like, you dedicate an obscene amount of time to it, to where if you just had picked something and made a decision, you'd be better off by now.
Gary V, he has this quote that I've always latched on to, is like, he's like, I'd rather make the wrong decision early and then make 3 more decisions and get to the right decision than sit there and be in that analysis paralysis state and wait 10 months to pull the trigger. And so ever since I've heard that, I'm always like, man, yeah, so it's like, yeah, sometimes if you go too fast, you're going to make an error. You're going to pick the wrong thing. But, like that CRM one is such a great example. Like, I'd rather sign up with the wrong CRM, figure out it's wrong, and then have to switch 2 more times than literally look at 25 different CRMs and wait 4 months to use one. Because
you could take all that time, look at 25, and still might pick the wrong one, because you won't really know till you're on the other side. So the end result might be the same. You might still have to change it, even if you just said that one looks good in the first 30 days and pick that one.
We talked about this on the hiring side of the business as well.
Yes.
You could do 3 interviews with someone. You could dig super deep into them and their background and, have all these different questions. You could do personality tests. Like, you can go crazy, but you really won't know till you hire somebody. Mm-hmm. So you have to find that middle ground of like, I feel good about this person and hire them, and not spend 2 weeks vetting someone just to hire them. That's my opinion. So
yeah, I agree.
We're already in overtime here, but here's the final one. It's the lead junkie. This is the person who is buying so many leads that they're literally throwing half of them away. They're not working them. They might not even really be using a CRM. And they're just, obsessed with the slot machine of, give me those leads every week. In my opinion, of the 10, this might be one of the best agents you could be in the categories, because if you have a system in place where you can pull that lever and you're getting leads, even if you're being inefficient with them, which I think the true lead junkie a lot of times is, at least you're consistently writing. What do you think about the lead junkie?
Yeah, I think I would much rather someone be a lead junkie than a lot of the things on this list, because at least you have leads coming in, you prioritize leads, you're willing to buy leads, you're willing to spend money on generating leads, and you're probably writing business, right? Because even if you have too many leads, you probably are working some of them, a lot of them, that type of thing, and you're getting business on the other side. So, like, in certain points in my career, I've probably overdone it with leads. That's because I've always had the philosophy of I'd rather have too many leads than not enough.
Right.
But for someone that doesn't have the marketing budget for it, it can be problematic.
Right. The biggest problem in my mind is missing the fortunes in the follow-up. I think there's so many leads, if you just stayed on top of them and you had a system in place where you had a higher contact rate, that you'd get a lot more sales. You're wasting resources in a lot of ways. But again, out of this list, this top 10, this is probably the best one. If you could pick out of any of these, you could be. I think sometimes, like, the one, and maybe this will kind of be my final thoughts on the top 10. If I were to rank, like, who's writing the most business out of these 10 different types of agents, and I'm sure we could probably have spent some more time and created a couple other personas that we're seeing out there with these agents, but I think the lead junkie, and maybe the second one would be the purist or the forever indie agent. Sometimes some of these purist agents write a ton of business. As much as we give them crap and they're only selling one product or they're only selling one carrier, there's some of these purist agents who write a lot of business. The forever indie agent, the person who's 100% solo, they don't want to work with anyone. Some of those agents write a lot of business, and the lead junkies, some of them write a lot of business. The others, though, you know, if you're spending too much time with analysis paralysis, you're hopping around too much time at events, too much time on social media, you're trying to be everything, you're just trying to recruit, or you're obsessed with compliance, most of those agents really aren't writing anything, in my opinion. So,
yeah,
you know, be careful. There's some traps out there. Hopefully we've kind of illuminated some of these different traps you can fall into as an agent. So those are my final thoughts, guys. Freebie Friday is tomorrow, so comment on the streams from this week. This is our 4th episode of the week. You can find these streams in the 7-Figure Medicare Agent Facebook group. 1 comment per stream equals 1 chance to win on Freebie Friday. I'm not exactly sure yet what we're giving away, but last week we gave away 200 hours with our trained virtual assistants. So we're going to do something great again tomorrow. Again, 4 streams, 4 possible chances to enter into the giveaway. So comment, Freebie Friday, comment anything, ask a question, hit us in the comments. Those are my final thoughts. Christian, final thoughts on episode 136.
Yes, I love this topic. It was a lot of fun. I think we had a lot of fun with it.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, my thought process is there's a lot of agents that probably fall into multiple of these categories.
Yes.
Some of you fall into only one of them. And so I think at the end of the day, you know, I think there's things we can do, all of us, to where we can look in the mirror and be like, oh, that is me. You know, if you listen to any of these and it's like, oh, that was me, know that like, we're not trying to poke fun too much at you necessarily, maybe a little bit. But maybe that's something that you can see, you know, you have the self-awareness to spot it when it's really talked about and to see if there's something maybe you could work on that might be standing in the way of your business progress. So that's my final thoughts. Guys, I appreciate you watching all the way to the end, episode 136. And whatever platform you're choosing to take in today's show on, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, or leave us a 5-star review, whatever the platform allows you to do. And we'll see you on the next episode of the 7 Figures or Bust podcast. Appreciate you guys, and here's to your massive success.
Happy selling.